Hello gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tanek127 and welcome back to another video. And guys, before we get into today's video, I do want to give a special shout out and a special thank you to the developers of Wolcen for sponsoring today's video and hooking me up with a review key of Wolcen for PlayStation 5. Now, I do want to apologize to you guys that my first impressions on this game is mad late. It actually took me weeks to get to get this review key from the developer and publisher. I guess they were having issues, getting console keys and stuff like that. It took me a long while, and then I had to spend some time with playing the game, and getting to know it and stuff like that. And of course, we were waiting for a lot of fixes and everything, because I'm going to tell you guys straight up, the console versions of Wolcen did launch pretty buggy, and I think there are still some issues plaguing them today. I'm not 100% sure on that. Now, me personally, I've been playing Wolcen on PlayStation. You're actually seeing it run on the PS5, but it is a native PS4 client. There is no current gen updates for Wolcen available at this time. I do hope the developer changes that in the future, because from what I know, they still have long plans and long-term stuff that they want to do with Wolcen. So seeing it, with availability on the current gen consoles, especially, with a free, simple upgrade would probably be nice. I do hope that's one thing that developers do consider in the future. But, yeah, I wanted to go ahead and just, talk to you guys about Wolcen, my first impressions of it and stuff like that, because I have been spending a good amount of time with this game, and I do know that Diablo 4 is literally around the corner, and people are probably wondering, hey, is Wolcen worth playing, or should I wait for Diablo and stuff like that? Well, let's go into it. So what is Wolcen? Wolcen is a top-down action RPG. Just like games like Diablo, Path of Exile. You've played some of the things in this genre by now, if you're curious about Wolcen. Now, when it comes to Wolcen, I think Wolcen has some very unique and interesting traits compared to the other games going for it that I really want to take some time and point out here before I dive more into the game's flaws and stuff that concerns me and things like that. The first and foremost thing about Wolcen is there are no classes. Now, you probably are going to say to yourself, well, Snack, how is that a good thing? Because you can literally just pick up a weapon and do whatever the hell you want. You can build your character how you want to. If you want to be a dual wielding sword user that also has mage-like powers and can use a staff, you can do that. If you want to be a Dark Knight type of great sword user that like buffs allies and also does more of the tank style thing or more of the DPS style thing, you can do that. If you want to be a healing type of mage, you can do that. If you want to be a mage that that just wrecks and does damage, you can be anything you want to be in this game. It's going to give you a few different starter routes of basically using a sword, using a bow and arrow, or using magic. But the skill tree literally lets you go wherever you want to go. So when you pick your starter weapon in this game, don't take that seriously. It doesn't matter what you start with. It's just, for you to get the feel of swinging something or shooting something so you can get through the introduction into the game. There's a lot of in-depth systems in Wolcen, and I definitely do appreciate that, as a fellow action RPG fan. The combat does feel pretty good. It does feel pretty smooth. One thing I do also like about Wolcen as well is the fact that it runs on the Cry engine. For those who don't know, that's the same engine that made games like Crisis and Warface and stuff like that. It's a really strong, detailed, good environmental engine. Now, with that being said, I also think because of that engine is one reason the developers struggle a lot with optimization in this game. This game did have a multitude of optimization issues when it launched on console, and it also had a lot of them when it launched on PC. Now, since then, I know there have been numerous patches launched, especially on PC, because PC's been out for a few years, but on console, there's been numerous patches to address a lot of these issues. Are all of the issues fixed? I highly doubt it. I don't think, they've done that many updates, but the game has definitely made a long way since, it released about roughly a month or a month and a half ago. The game's definitely made some decent progress. The spell animations, the particle effects, and everything in here, they're really cool. They're really awesome. I love how the Cry engine just utilizes all all that stuff. I really do like, you know, how Wolcen's combat looks, how it feels and everything. It might feel a little bit clunky and different to some. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's not as, you know, as like smooth and buttery as like Diablo's combat is. It's a bit more, you know, like, I'm not gonna say stiff or stern or anything, but you know, it's just, it doesn't feel exactly like Diablo's. It's just, I guess you'll have to say, you know, it's a bit more stiff than Diablo's, but it is some good feeling combat overall. I do really like it. The game does feature four-player multiplayer. There's a little social hub that you hang out with. And now, unfortunately, no other players around the world or anything aren't in this hub with you. It'll just be you and the people, you know, that you invite to your game. And yeah, honestly, guys, the story and everything's looking cool. There's some bugs and stuff like that with the cutscenes, unfortunately, on console that I have noticed. The character progression system in here is great. It's a very big skill tree. I'm talking bigger than the one that's currently in Diablo 4, but not as big as Path of Exiles. Okay, it's a big skill tree, but it's not as big as Path of Exiles, but it's not as tiny as Diablo's. Now, unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to make it to endgame and, you know, experience the endgame of Wolcen and stuff like that, but I do know the update that the console version literally launched with is called Endgame, so I know a good chunk of endgame content came with this game. I do know that Wolcen doesn't use the typical seasonal model thing that Diablo and Path of Exile use, so you do have for everlasting progression with your character, and I personally think this is an awesome thing. However, this is going to come to my concern with Wolcen. I just hope they don't change that in the future. I hope, you know, they continue to add more content to this game, you know, that's going to entertain, you know, what your current gear level and stuff is, you know, things that, you know, that'll make you want to strive to be more powerful and stuff like that. Instead of going, you know, the typical seasonal ARPG route where, you know, you start a new character every season for a couple of cosmetic rewards, and then, you know, you wait for the next season's content and you just run the same stuff over and over and over again. Me personally, I'm just not a fan of that seasonal model. I don't know about most people that play ARPGs. I'm sure that a lot of you guys are. I'm a little bit different when it comes to that. Me personally, I like everlasting progression. I'm naturally an MMO guy, but that is just, you know, just me. But other than that, guys, my only real concerns for the game are, you know, like the bugs and some of the issues we got at launch, and it does seem like, you know, they have a bit of optimization issues when it comes to the CryEngine. But other than that, I'm actually pretty excited for the future of Wolcen, and, you know, I really hope they continue to do right by this action RPG, and I can't wait to see where it is, you know, a year or two from now. Let me know if you plan on checking out Wolcen down in the comments below. Anyway, y'all enjoyed today's video, smash that like button. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.